طيب بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما إلى علمنا ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. Inshallah, we'll continue with reading with فتح العلام في بيان مآخذ الأحكام لعبد الرحمن ibn Ali al-Hattab حفظه الله تعالى. And we're in the section of the book, the Ayat of Ahkam, that deal with An-Najasat. An-Najasat. And we talked about last time, like we said, this chapter is Izalat al-Najasat, getting rid of Najasa. And so we're going to talk about what is Najasa and how to get rid of it. Does anybody remember the first ayah that deals with how to get rid of Najasa? What's the ayah that proves how to get rid of Najasa?
That we covered here?
Yeah.
وأنزلنا من السماء ماء ليطهركم به.
No, وأنزلنا من السماء ماء ليطهركم به. And we sent down from above, that's Surah Al-Ahzab. We sent down from above water to clean you with it. And we said that this has two points of reference that we're looking at in this. Because if water is used for purification, then what is purification? What is purification? Getting rid of the najasa and
The
removal of hadith. So Allah sent down water to get rid of najasa and to remove hadith. And we said that here, the first topic is water gets rid of hadith. Does anything else get rid of hadith? That's one of the conversations that surround this ayah. Does anything else get rid of hadith? Right? So when we talk about these things, we're looking at it from the aspect of, like, all the time people have questions. You're always going to have questions. Sheikh, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about that? The goal is to develop the skills in yourself to start to answer questions on your own. Right? This is the goal. This is the ultimate goal, is to be able to read the Quran, understand the Quran, and implement the Quran. So when we're doing it, we're looking at, okay, what is the ayat telling me? So these are the things that you want to focus on. What's the ayat? And what is the ayat telling me? And then what are the secondary conversations that surround the ayat, right? What's the ayat? Memorizing it, knowing it. What's the ayat telling me? Understanding what the ayat is talking about specifically. You have to add to that the sunnah, because the sunnah helps you understand the ayat. And then the surrounding conversations outside of the ayat. Like what's connected to the ayat, even if the ayat is not explicitly talking about it. Once you master those four things, then you're in a good position of understanding. So, what's the ayat? وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً No, وَيُنَزِّلُ عَلَيْكُم مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً لِيُطَهِّرَكُم بِهِ وَيُنَزِّلُ عَلَيْكُم مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً لِيُطَهِّرَكُم بِهِ. The other ayat is وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً طَهُورًا. Surah Al-Ahzab, وَيُنَزِّلُ عَلَيْكُم مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً لِيُطَهِّرَكُم بِهِ وَعَلَيْكُمُ السَّلَامُ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَيُنَزِّلُ عَلَيْكُم, and He sends down all the time, over and over. وَيُنَزِّلُ عَلَيْكُم مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, He sends down over and over upon you from above water to purify you. And so we know the ayat. What's the ayat talking about? We've done the tafsir of the ayat. Now we're looking at what's it talking about? Water is how we purify. We know for sure water gets rid of najasa. We know for sure water removes hadith. The conversations that are surrounding this is, can anything else besides water get rid of hadith? Can anything else besides water get rid of najasa? Can anything else besides water purify us? When we look at it, we say, okay, one group of people will say no, and this is the majority. The majority of people say no. You can't purify with anything other than water. Why do they say no? Why would they say no? Huh? I don't have any evidence. Look, the ayat says what?
We said water.
Water. Show me a proof that something else can purify, I'll accept it. But the ayat said we sent down water, so I can't use anything besides water. Other people will say No, you can use other than water generally, right? And I don't even know if anybody says this, but generally, you can use other than water for removal of hadith. You can use other than water for removal of najasa, right? Like when Allah talks about tayammum, He says, وَلَكِنْ مَا يُرِيدُ لِيَجْعَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ حَرَجٍ وَلَكِنْ يُرِيدُ لِيُطَهِّرَكُمْ بِهِ. He wants to clean you with it. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said about the shoes and the ground for the woman dragging her garment, يُطَهِّرُهَا مَا بَعْدَهَا. It cleans it what comes after it. So this shows us that you can use other than water to purify. And once you understand that conversation outside of that, another group of people, before we get to the next thing, will say, no, you can use water to get rid of najasat, because getting rid of najasa isn't worship. It isn't an action. It's getting something back to how it was. But you can't use other than water to get rid of hadith, right? Because even with tayammum, are you getting rid of the hadith? No, you're just being allowed to pray in that circumstance.
Is it even removing it temporarily or no? None at all.
How do we know hadith can remove temporarily? What made it come back?
The seeing of water.
So seeing water breaks your wudu? You see what I'm saying? But that's an argument they say. Because that's also, and the reason why we focus on these little bitty details is because, like we talk about all the time, every decision you make is going to affect another decision. So for example, some of the scholars say, yes, seeing the water breaks your wudu.
Seeing
And
water?
yes,
For water.
if you have tayammum, seeing water breaks your wudu.
Okay.
Other scholars say, no, it doesn't break your wudu. You just have to use it. So for example, if you're in the middle of salah and somebody brings water, do you have to stop praying, or can you finish your salah?
Good question.
You see what I'm saying? Whatever decision you make here will affect what decision you make there, will affect your worship. So by understanding the topic and like starting to learn how people get to these decisions, when you finally get to the point of having to make that decision, you have background information. I know the ayat. What's the ayat telling me? Because that's all we're focusing on right now. The ayat is telling me water for sure can be used. I know that for sure. That's the ruling. If you don't understand nothing else, somebody says, prove to me that you can use water to get rid of najasa. That's obvious. But then the next conversation that's outside of that is, okay, what about other than water? The people who say no, say because Allah only mentioned water. The people who say yes, say because there's other proof that Allah mentioned other things. And the people who say yes in this situation, no in this situation. They say yes for najasa, but they say no for hadith. They say yes for najasa because najasa is getting rid of. And you don't need anything. Whatever gets rid of it, once it's gone, it's gone. But hadith is you're doing something. And you can only do according to what? To the proof. You need a proof to do something. You don't need a proof to not do. You need a proof to do. And so water is the only thing we have a proof of that removes hadith. And as far as tayammum, then it doesn't really remove hadith. It just makes it okay to pray. And then the question is, okay, we'll get to the other stuff next. So that was the first ayah. And that was the main thing that he talked about in that first ayah. And we talked about some of the benefits that arise from that issue, right? From the benefits that we talked about, the conversations that are connected to that. Can you make wudu from smoke? Or can you use steam to clean, right? And that conversation will be connected to this. Is steam water or not? You got to make that decision, right? If you say steam is water, then you can clean with it. If you say steam isn't water, you see what I'm saying? Then that changes your opinion, right? And you have to start making those decisions. Is steam water or not? Huh? Is it?
I don't think so.
I would lean to it's not. It's not water until you do what?
Does it come from water?
It comes from water.
Until you prove it's water.
No, not till you prove it's water.
Until it becomes water.
It's not water until it gets captured
Yeah.
and cools down.
Nobody says it's water.
Nobody says steam is water.
Oh, it's not water.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you capture it and cool it down, then it becomes what? Becomes water. And so can you clean with steam is an issue. Like me, I say I can clean the najasa with steam, but I can't make wudu with steam. I can't run, like for example, if it's a hot shower, can I run into a hot shower, a steam shower, and just sit there and say it's a ghusl? A sauna, that's not, yeah. Can I just say it's a ghusl? It has steam. But that's not a ghusl until I do what? Capture the steam and let it cool down and turn into water and then pour it on my body. Right? But if somebody says steam is water, then they'll say, yeah, you can make wudu with steam. But since I believe you can get rid of najasa with anything, I believe steam cleaning your couch or your clothes is perfectly fine. Because whatever gets rid of it, gets rid of it. And we said that conversation connects to also snow and ice. Is snow and ice water? It's not water until you do what? Until you heat it up. And then once you heat it up and gather what melts and what falls off of it, now it's water. Yeah.
So the first group that says only you can clean with water.
Uh-huh.
Are they talking about najasa and
everything? لا يرفع الحدث ولا يزيل النجس الطائر غيره. Nothing gets rid of hadith and nothing gets rid of temporary najasa other than water.
So even if you mix detergent or whatever,
is it still, so this goes back to, is it ma'un tahur or ma'un tahir? That first conversation we talked about with water. You see what I'm saying? If you mix it with detergent to where there's soap and all of that in it now, they would say it's tahir. Some of it. You see what I'm saying?
But they will still use it.
No.
No?
Because it's tahir. You can't get rid of najasa with it. لا يرفع الحدث ولا يزيل النجس الطائر. So putting Tide Pods in your washing machine wouldn't clean it.
So if you have urine, it wouldn't.
You see what I'm saying? Because, but you see how all of those decisions you make, they're going to follow you down the line. If I said water is 3 types, one of them is tahir, and then I say nothing cleans najasa except water, but the only water that can clean is what kind of water? Tahur. And this water is tahir, I can't clean with it. And so you have to go back. And how much soap is a lot of soap, a little soap. So you would have to wash it with water till it got clean. Then you could wash it with soap. Or you could wash it with soap to get soap in it, but then you would have to wash it again with water. You see what I'm saying? And when you look at it like that, when you actually approach it from, because this is one thing that people sometimes don't do, and it's sad. They don't approach the religion as if it is meant for your life. We approach the religion as theoretical a lot. Well, this and that, and like a science, like an experiment of the mind, an intellectual experiment. But we don't approach the religion as this was sent down for us to worship Allah according to it, right? So we'll say, okay, this water is tahir, even though there's no evidence for it. But how does that affect you practically? You see what I'm saying? How does that, and not to say that practical, how it affects you practically changes the religion, but the religion was sent down for you to do what? To practice, to use it. So something that doesn't make sense and makes it hard on you to practice, is it the religion? When there's no evidence for it specifically. You see what I'm saying? And the Salaf, they understood this. Even though it seems as if the Salaf were opposite. Because the Salaf, they understood this, but they would always err on the side of caution. You know what? It's better to just use something else. Like we talked about before. You ask me a question, I don't say halal haram, I just say don't do it. And 100 years from now, don't do it became what? Haram. But I never said haram. And that's why when you look at the statements of the Salaf, you see those intricacies in their actual statements. It's not pleasing to me. You should avoid it. Don't do it. Right? He would do this. And then it's the madhahib afterwards that come and make it, okay, this is halal, this is haram, this is wajib. But this is why it's necessary for us to get back to the origins of their decisions. So we got this ayat. We said another issue that was connected to this issue of only water was using other than water from like milk and vinegar and things like that independently. But we finished that ayat. Then we talked about the ayat of fihi rijalun yuhibbu an yatatahharu wallahu yuhibbul mutahhirin. The ayat that dealt with the people of Medina, the Ansar, that in that masjid ولا تقم فيه أبدا لمسجد أسس على التقوى من أول يومه أحق أن تقوم فيه رجال يحب أن يتطهروا والله يحب المطهرين in Surah At-Tawbah. And we talked about the story behind that ayat. We know about the Masjid al-Dirar. We know about what happened with the building of that masjid and the destruction of that masjid. We know what masjid is Allah referring to in this ayat. In that masjid, are people who love to purify. What masjid is Allah referring to? The Prophet's masjid. That's the stronger opinion. It's the Prophet's masjid. While some people say it's Masjid al-Quba. And we talked about last time how even one part of the ayat can be sent down at one time, while another part can be sent down later. And that kind of alleviates for us some of the confusion that surrounds the interpretation of this ayat, because it seems that the last part of the ayat was sent down earlier in Hijrah, while the first part of the ayat was sent down year 9 with Masjid al-Dirar. So just like one surah can be sent down multiple times, likewise one ayat can be sent down during multiple times, meaning parts of it can be sent down over a time period.
Which part was sent down earlier?
In my opinion, the part that was sent down earlier is the end of it. فِيهِ رِجَالٌ يُحِبُّ أَن يَطَّهَّرُوا وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُطَّهِّرِينَ.
That one?
Yes.
فِيهِ رِجَالٌ.
Yes. The reason I say that is because one of the narrations mentioned that when the Prophet ﷺ first came to Medina, he said to the Ansar, "What's this I find Allah praising you for being clean?" And they said that we took from our Jewish neighbors that when we defecate, we wash ourselves. And the Prophet said, that's it, right? And everybody agrees that this ayah is dealing with washing yourself after using the toilet. And so for that reason is why I say that it's possible that this portion of the ayat was sent down first. And then in year 9, لا تقوم فيه أبدا لمسجد أسس على التقوى أحق أن تقوم فيه من أول يومه أحق أن تقوم فيه. That part was sent down year 9 with Masjid al-Dirar. But Allah knows best. And then we talked about cleaning najasa, which is after you use the toilet. Using water is recommended. Right? Somebody might disagree and not like to use water, but we say using water is recommended. But the question that we said, the surrounding conversation is what? Does anybody remember this? So we know the ayat. We know what the ayat means. We know the point of the ayat. Using water to clean yourself after using the toilet is legislated. That's part of the religion. But what are the surrounding conversation?
Is water anything other than water?
That was the last one. I'm talking about istinja specifically. Cleaning yourself after using the toilet. What's the surrounding conversation?
How do you do it?
Huh?
Was it the switch?
No. Is water by itself better? Are stones by themselves better? Is water and stones better? And if water and stones are better, which one is better to start with? Stones then water or water then stones? This is a conversation surrounded. This ayah doesn't talk about that specifically, but these are the things that will branch off of that ayah. If you know this ayah, you know you have this topic locked down in your head. And so the ayat, without a doubt, is dealing with using water to clean yourself after after defecating.
Right.
But the question becomes, which one's better? The ayah would make it seem like which one is better? Water. Because all of the tafsir of this ayat is only water. And the people that say that this ayat was sent down about people using water and wiping, there's no authenticity to that. The people that say that this was sent down about Ahlul Quba using stones and water, there's no authenticity to that. And it's not known abundantly from the Salaf that they did both. Except that we mentioned the statement of Ali, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He says that they, i.e. the Sahaba, كَانَ يُبَعِرُونَ بَعْرًا. They would have turds. And you all, تَثْلِخُونَ تَثْلِخُونَ ثَلْخًا. تثليتون ثلطا ثلطا yeah ثلطا إنهم كانوا يبعرون بعرا وأنتم تثليتون ثلطا. They used to excrete, they used to get rid of, they used to pass turds, like actual solid matter, and you all, it comes out mushy, right? ثلط البعر, right, is when like the cows or the horses, you know how when they pass, it comes out mushy and not solid. And so it can smear the location.
Right.
And so Ali said, so follow the stones up with water. Right? فَأَتْبِئُ الْحِجَارَةُ الْمَاءِ. So follow the stones up with water. And so this was an example of somebody gathering between the two. But even in this, gathering between the two was for a reason.
Because it was bad.
Because the consistency of it, akramakumullah.
Right.
Where if it was solid, would he still have the same ruling? And remember, we said the Muhajirun, they used to just use stones more than anything else. It was from the Ansar that water came. And the Prophet did both, but what would the Prophet do the most? He would use stones the most, right? And so this is why there's that conversation. It's combining between the two better? Is using just water better? Or is using just stones better? The Prophet used stones the most, but water gets you cleaner. And combining between the two, nobody really did it. But Ali said to do it in this circumstance. And if you're going to combine between the two, which one do you do? Stones to get rid of the big pieces and then water? Or do you use water to keep your hand clean and then stones afterwards? Right?
Well, if it's dry and using stones and it's not that messy, I'll just use stones because it's easier.
Exactly. Which is what, and when we say stones, you're looking like, okay, I'm not using a rock. That's your tissue today. Like, for example, a benefit that comes from this conversation, when we talk about istinja and using tissue or stones, you can't use the tissue or stones, according to the majority, to clean anything other than the orifice itself, the hole itself, and what is connected to the hole. So like, for example, if you have a mushy consistency in your defecation that gets on your cheek, for example, or the splashback out of the toilet, because unfortunately we go to the toilet in water, that splashes back the najasa on your thigh or on your butt cheek, akramakumullah. You can't just wipe that off, according to the majority.
Use water.
You have to use water. You see what I'm saying? And so the statement of Ali, follow the stones up with water, when it's that consistency, makes sense to be for that reason. Because if it's mushy consistency and it smears as it's coming out, like you might have, akramakumullah, diarrhea or something like that, that might get past the halakat al-dubur, the butthole, akramakumullah, to where now you need to use water. Now using water is mandatory, because that's the only way you can clean that surface that's outside of the area. And so when you understand all of that, it starts teaching you how to put the things together. But what Fadl did a second ago was the point of it. I'm not using all of this to debate and argue. I'm learning all of this to see, okay, how am I going to apply the religion? And if it's dry and I just wipe, there's no problem with that. But if it was wet and mushy, maybe I'm going to use water. And if I'm going to use water, maybe I'm going to wipe first to not get my hand all dirty when I use the water. And then I'm going to use the water to finish the job. And it goes out from being, well, which one is better, to which one is practical.
No.
And that's the point of the religion. You see what I'm saying? Fine.
I have a question.
Fadl.
What is this first hadith you mentioned here?
In which topic?
This topic. فيه رجال يحبون
كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يدخل الخلاء فأحمل أنا وغلام نحوي إداوة من ماء وعنزة فيستنجي بالماء. Anaza is like a stick or a spear, and it's the stick that they would use to wipe it out. So they would use an anaza, which is like a stick, right? It's the kind of stick they would poke in the ground sometimes to use as a sutra. Instead of just using his bare hand to scrape it out, he would take the stick.
Would that be istijmar?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's using water, but he would use a stick as well. And so somebody would say that this is an example of him doing both.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But, huh?
Sahih.
Right, it's like, yeah. So he would carry, this is Mughira, right? No, Anas. فَأَحْمِلُ أَنَا وَغُلَامٌ نَحْوِي إِدَاوَةٍ مِّن مَا وَعَنَزَ. We would carry a pitcher of water and this stick to clean out the area. Just so we can have the sharh. Anaza. Anaza. You go to something like Gharib al-Hadith or something like that, where they will explain what the word is. I don't want to go to Fath Bari, but we will if we have.
It's like a portion or
Idawatan is a vessel, a pitcher. It's a type of container. It's a leather skin, right? Idawatan min ma.
so this hadith, like this ayah proves both.
Yes,
Right.
the hadith proves that he would possibly do both. Because like, what was the point of the stick? Somebody might argue the stick was to but yeah, it's to like scrape it out.
Our position is that the ayah proves istijmar and
No. The position of the majority is that the ayat proves both. You see what I'm saying? To the extent that some of them say it's an ijma' in it. But the reality is that the ayat doesn't. The ayat was only sent down about using water. Because anybody who says that the ayat was about them doing both, there's no evidence that they did both.
So why would they say that? Like why would they had a reasoning behind it?
Who?
Like you said, the majority say that it's about both the ayah.
Because there's a weak hadith in it.
Oh, okay.
There's a weak hadith, and both makes more sense practically. I mean, if you're going to do one, doing both is better. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they would say that the ayat, if you take that weak hadith, it's just better to do both. And that's what led some of them to say there's a consensus that doing both is better. But there's no consensus that doing both is better. There are people that say using only water is better. And there are people that say using only stones are better.
so if I only use water, I would be good, right?
Of course. Of course. Only using water is possibly the best.
Just like even the solid.
For everything. فِيهِ رِجَالٌ يُحِبُّ أَن يَتَطَهَّرُوا. Allah sent down an ayat about people who only used water. You see what I'm saying?
I'm saying you're gonna touch the solid.
Yeah. You're going to pour it in your backside. Like, for example, when they talk about doing istinja, how do you know you're clean? With water. Like with wiping, how do you know you're clean?
3 wipes.
No, you might still be dirty.
Or more.
Wipe until you don't see nothing.
You wipe until you don't see anything.
Right.
Once you get to a position where you wipe and nothing comes out, you are clean with wiping. Even if there's still something left. Because with wiping, there will probably be something left. How do you know you're clean with water?
Just wipe.
water
Just
purifies.
I mean, you're using water. You're pouring water. How do you know you're clean? You're just going to pour it blindly? How do you know you're clean with water?
If there's anything on your hand,
No. Till the skin around the anus gets wrinkled again.
It's not like all slippery and whatnot.
Yeah, because when you defecate it and it's stuff there, it's mushy and slippery. If you touched it with your hand, your finger would slide right on it.
Right.
But if you're using water, when it's rigid again, when it's coarse again, now you're clean. The point of all of that is, one, you had to know it. You got to know when you're clean.
Yeah, you're not gonna have a mirror.
And what were you using to determine you were clean? Your hand.
some people they test just the touch.
Touch what?
That's why they get those toilet seats with that spray.
With the sprayer.
That's what I got.
Yeah, I got one too. Or we got the little nozzle, or if you go to the masjid, they got the little flower pot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. But you still might have to do what? Still might have to get in there.
It's okay, just use the toilet paper after.
Now you're combining.
That's right.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But the question was, can I use my hand with it? Yeah. Okay, that's nasty. That's filthy. You must. No, it's not. Because that's what they did. That's why we use our left hand to do what? To clean. And we don't eat with our left hand. And we don't shake with our left hand. Right? We don't hand things with our left hand because this is the hand that you did what with? You cleaned yourself. And now my hand is clean. If I got to scratch my face, I'm not worried because I do what? I wash my hand. But at the same point in time, this hand is designated for that. Right? That's why you don't bite your nails. That's why you keep your nails short. You see how the religion, it covers all of these things in the connection that just on the surface, you're not thinking about. But why do we have short nails? Right? The Prophet told us it's the weapon of the Africans, right? To have long nails. But also, it keeps them from gathering the filth when we clean ourselves. Right? You see what I'm saying? Why do we wash our hands after we eat? Not before we eat. Yeah, the food is stuck all on your fingers and you got that little food in your nail because they ate with their hands. So you will wash your hands after you eat. You rinse your mouth out after you eat. And so Islam is a religion of hygiene, but it's also a religion of normality and being a man. Some of the things that we are prissy.
What?
Prissy, like girly, like, you know what I mean, like effeminate.
Like
That's manly.
drinking out of the same container.
Drinking out of the same container. Right?
We're using the same.
I drink something, hand it to you, you drink from it. Oh, no, I don't want that. I don't drink after people.
There's hadith about that.
About sharing the container?
Not to drink from the same
Okay.
open.
But they would, so is it about a pitcher or about a cup?
It's about a bottle.
And then how do you apply it? I know what you're talking about, but I think that's from the container, like the main container. Like the pit, like if we were to look at it, your gallon of milk at home. Don't drink out the gallon of milk. But if I got a cup and then I hand the cup, the Prophet would do what with Aisha?
It's Aisha.
Huh?
He's like, that's Aisha
Because it's his wife?
That's his wife. Yeah.
But what about the times when they did it when he was drinking and he handed the container to the child who said, I'm not going to let something go from you, and he didn't hand it to Abu Bakr who was on the other side? You know the narration I'm talking about? Where there was the Prophet on his left side was Abu Bakr, on the right side there was a younger child. And so the younger child had the right because he was on the right side, and he asked him, can you let it go to Abu Bakr? And he said, no, I'm not giving up something directly from you to anybody.
Oh.
Huh?
It was the Prophet.
And you'll find examples of them sharing containers, drinking out of the same water skin. Like, so that's what I'm saying. There's the balance
They
there.
use the same miswak. Like
Using the same miswak.
that. We like
It's strange to me.
would you do it
I don't know. Depends on who and when and why.
right before Salah? I use it.
Depends on
I hand it to
who.
you.
I'll flip the other side.
No, he did.
Nah, we don't. We can't use the other side now. That's for later.
So I was asking with when you wash it, and then some people that either you have a diarrhea or some other condition whereby you still feel that something is still coming out, but you already run out of your water or white.
Is something still coming out?
Yeah, you still suspect tiny.
I don't want to know suspect. Is something still coming out?
Yeah.
Yes, something is still coming out.
Yeah.
Is it a condition where it doesn't stop?
Yeah, you use like 3 buckets of water that when you already have and still.
Is it a condition that doesn't stop?
Yeah.
And it's still coming out? Then I hope there's no problem. That's what they call selis. Selis al-bowl or selis al-gha'it, where you have incontinence, where you can't stop using the toilet. Right? That type of person who wears a diaper, the elderly person, they can't control themselves. Scholars disagree about what to do in this situation, but the majority say you make wudu for every salat. Right? Or a large portion say you make wudu for every salat. But that's called salis al-bowl. You still have to do istinja, and you clean yourself. And then when you're done, whatever comes out after that, it doesn't impact you because you can't stop it. But, so we covered that topic. The next topic that we have in front of us, so we got 2 ayat so far about getting rid of najasa. What gets rid of najasa? Ma. And then we got, what's the first time we need to get rid of najasa? using the toilet, right? That's an event where we have to get rid of najasa. And that also tells us that what is najis? Or excrement. You see what I'm saying? Because you're going to be looking for a proof. Prove to me that pee and urine is najis.
You have to get rid of it.
You have to get rid of it after you use the toilet, right? And then there's other conversations that we're not going to get into, like do you have to get rid of it right away? Right? We talked about that. Or can you let it stay there? Can you purposely get yourself dirty or not? Meaning, can you purposely get yourself dirty? Can you purposely put najasa on yourself?
Why would you want to do something?
I know you can't understand why, but there's circumstances where there'll be a why. So before we give you the reason why, what do you think about the question? Can you purposely get yourself dirty? And is it necessary to get rid of najasa the moment it gets on you? Meaning if you don't get rid of it right away, you're sinning. And if you put it on yourself, you're sinning. Like, for example, the Prophet ﷺ said the one who plays Nadr Dashir, the one who plays backgammon, he might as well dip his hand and paint his hand in pig blood. What's the point of that hadith?
Pig blood is disgusting.
The one who plays backgammon, he might as well, backgammon is a type of game, like Chinese checkers. He might as well paint his hand in pig blood.
It shows how bad Nadr Dashir is.
Shows that Nadr Dashir is what?
Haram.
Haram. Because it's as the equivalent of doing what?
Filthifying yourself.
Filthifying yourself.
Putting your hand in najasa.
Putting najasa on yourself. So that shows that putting najasa on yourself will be what?
Impermissible.
Would be impermissible, right? But now, what about if your wife has istihada? Non-period bleeding. Can you have intercourse with her?
Non-period bleeding?
Non-period bleeding.
Just bleeding, but it's not period?
Exactly. You guys know istihada? When the woman bleeds not because of her period. It's a vein inside of her vagina.
How do you know the difference?
The blood will be different. The smell will be different. Or if you can't tell the difference, because some women you can't tell the difference, she just makes a portion of her time for her period based on what her period used to be. There were some of the sahabiyat that bled for 7 years. Right? They would put a tust under her and it would gather the blood. And Aisha says, if I'm looking at the tray now, catching the blood. But can her husband have... So the first question, is that blood najis?
Right, yeah.
And then if the blood is najis, can you have intercourse with her? Because that would be what? Filthifying yourself. You see what I'm saying? So all of these decisions are going to play a role with each other. You see what I'm saying? So if you say that it's haram to filthify yourself, now you see why the Hanabila said you can't have sex with the woman who's bleeding on her not on her non-period. The istihad. You can't have sex with her. While the majority say it's okay. So all of these things, remember, you're not going to understand it all right now, but it's just to open up the way that you're thinking. Right now you understand two things. Water can be used for najas, to get rid of it, to make tahara. And the first type of najis thing is human excrement. Prove to me human excrement is najis. That's not a proof.
You gotta do...
فِيهِ رِجَالٌ يُحِبُّ أَن يَتَطَهَّرُوا. What were they يَتَطَهَّرُونَ from?
Those who purify themselves.
From bowl and defecation. And Allah yuhibbul muttahirin. And Allah loves the people who purify themselves. So that shows us that at least purifying yourself is preferable. Does this prove that istinja is wajib?
According to some.
And I'm saying this ayat. Does it prove that istinja is wajib? Where? The ayat did not say we have to. They love to. They love to, and Allah loves them. Does this prove that doing it is wajib?
Well, if you don't do it, are you among those whom Allah...
Some people would take that understanding. If you don't, then Allah doesn't love you. But did Allah say? But did this ayat have only in it? Did it have hasr? Remember we talked about hasr before. Does this ayat have hasr in it, or is it possible that Allah loves them and other people?
Muhajirun weren't doing it?
Huh?
Muhajirun weren't doing it?
Muhajirun weren't doing it before this. You see what I'm saying? Did Allah not love the Muhajirun? And so once again, does this ayat prove that you have to do istinja. It doesn't prove it. It proves that istinja is what? Preferable, legislated. But it doesn't prove that it's wajib. So if you want to tell me that I have to do istinja, you now need what? You now need another evidence. This evidence isn't good enough, ya akhi. You see what I'm saying? And we talked about last time how a lot of times people will use an evidence that isn't applicable. You got to go to the masjid. Why? Because the Prophet said praying in congregation is 27 times better than praying alone.
Yeah, that's good.
That doesn't prove that you have to go. It says it's preferable. It says it's better. To be better, you both have to be what?
Do what?
To be better than something, you both have to be what? You both have to be good. I'm a bigger human than you.
Okay.
What are we both? Humans. You don't say I'm a bigger human than you because you're not a human. You see what I'm saying? Talking to this Quran stand. So for us, for something to be better than something, it has to share in the foundation. So some people say going to the masjid is not obligatory, while other people say it is obligatory. But the people who say that it is obligatory, they need what?
A different evidence.
They need a different evidence than just that one that we mentioned. You see what I'm saying?
Do they have one?
Of course.
What is it?
The hadith of burning the homes down of the people who didn't pray in the masjid. But even that can be argued. And so the point of it is that we're not here to answer the questions. We're here to learn how to think like the answers. So the first thing we're looking at is not, well, is it or isn't it? It's how is this ayat applicable? Does this ayat prove that you have to make istinja?
No.
If somebody pees and just shakes it off, right? Is that good enough?
Preferably you watch it.
Right. According to this ayah, it's not proving that you have to use water. It's not proving that you have to use stones. If I just went to the toilet and then I peed and then I just shook it off, like the kuffar do when they go to the bathroom, or like you might do sometimes, akramakumullah. Not you specifically, but like people do. They're in a rush. They were at work and I just shake it off and I gotta go. Does this ayah prove that I'm sinning if I did that? And so it just changes the way you look at things. And we're not looking for the answer right now. We're just trying to do what? Train how we think. The next ayat of Ahkam is that Allah says, وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ, and clean your garments. طيب. يا أيها المدثر قم فأنذر وربك فكبر وثيابك فطهر والرجز فهجر ولا تمنن تستكثر. This ayat is a short ayat, so there's not a lot of tafsir that needs to be had with this ayat, except what is the meaning of thiyabuka fatahir? What does it mean? I want you right now to tell me what you think it means, so we can look back and see how much we do or don't know. Allah says it's an easy word. Wa. Everybody here understand the word wa? Thiyab. Everybody understand the word thiyab? What's thiyab?
So,
The plural of thobe. Do you really understand what a thobe is? What's a thobe? Huh?
Could it be?
Anything you put on.
Would it be like a mat that you put on? Maybe
Did you put it on?
that you can't put on. Yeah.
Anything you put on. I like that. Anything you, because for example, nowadays when we say thobe, we say this. Did the Prophet wear this?
he's on.
He wore an izar, but an izar was
So,
thobe,
it was good.
right? Man jarra thawbahu khuyala. Man jarra izarahu khuyala. Right, so now let's look. Before we go further, let's look and see what is the meaning of the word thobe. Words you say all the time, but do you actually know what a thobe is in the religion? Linguistically, what is a thobe? When we want to understand a word, where do we look? Oh, not just any dictionary. Maqayis al-Lugha by Ibn Faris, or Lisan al-Arab by Ibn Mandur. But I say Maqayis al-Lugha because it's usually the easiest, and he does it in a nice way. What is the origin of the word thobe? What are the fa'ala? Yeah, there you go. Thawaba. Right? Okay. Thawaba. مقاييس اللغة الثاء والواو والباء قياس صحيح من أصل واحد. And it is al-ud wal-ruju'. The word thawaba, what it really means is to return and go back. What's another word you know it sound like thob? Huh? Don't say thob is a word that sound like thob. Not in Arabic, meaning with the same letters.
With the same letters?
That sounds like thob, like look like it comes from thob.
Oh.
No, it's different letters. Thawab. Thawab.
Yeah.
What does thawab got to do with thob? But what does thawaba mean? To go back, to return. So what's thawab? Your reward. What you get back. Your refund. Your tax return. Your thawab. What's Allah going to give you back for the action you did? And that's why we call thawab, because it's what you get back. Why do we call a thob a thob? What did you say a thob was? No. What did you say it was? Anything you put on. When you put it on, how is he wearing that thob right now? Huh? He threw it around him, so he returned it from one side to another. That's how you kept it on your body. If you just laid it flat on your body, what would happen? But what did you have to do? Thawabta tarafayhi. You have to toss its ends to keep it up. And that's what a thob does. That's how you keep it on your body. Like an imamah, right? You have to tie its ends down. So what does Ibn Faris say? He says, يُقَالُ الثَّابَ يَثُوبُ إِذَا رَجَعَ. When something returns, you say thaba. إِذْ جَعَلْنَا الْبَيْتَ مَثَابَةً لِلنَّاسِ. A place where the people constantly go back to. A place of thob. A place of going back to. مَثَابَةً لِلنَّاسِ. He says, I'm trying to. والثواب اسم رجل كان قال زيد متى تطلع مثابا لأن يقال إن الثواب العسل وهو من الباب لأن النحل يثوب إليه والواحد ثوابه. He says اليوم he says من ثواب والثوب الملبوس, the thobe that you wear, محتمل أن يكون من هذا القياس. It's possible that it comes from this original meaning by comparison, to return back. Why? لأنه يلبسه ثم يلبسه ويثاب إليه. Because you wear it once and then you go wear it again. All right. So now we know what thobe means. And he says, and maybe وربما عبروا النفس بالثوب فيقال هو I don't want to say that yet because that's going to get an answer away. Right? So now, everybody know what a thobe is, right? Wa, thiyab, ka, fa, tahir. We know all of that. What's that ayat mean? Clean your thiyab.
Clean what you wear.
Clean what you wear. Anybody got anything different? Anything that you wear, anything that you put on that you return to again. Clean your clothes. Clean your clothes. That's what everybody's saying.
Could you repeat the ayat?
وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ.
What's the other one?
Huh? يَا أَيُّهَا الْمُدَّثِّرْ
I have to.
وَالرُّجْزَ فَهْجُرْ.
What's the ruches?
Ruj is najasa. Oh no.
Hold on now.
The reason I say no is because this is tafsir. And tafsir is speaking about who? Speaking about Allah.
Oh.
And so when you say that this is, the word rijis could mean najasa, but it could also mean other things. That's why I'm testing you right now. I'm trying to make a point. So I want to see what you all understand from this ayah. What does it mean? Clean your clothes, right? Would any of you take pause and telling that to somebody? Okay, mashallah. To adapt. You've learned. But before, if somebody says, what's this ayat mean? With the abaka fatahir, would you have any problem saying to somebody that this ayat means clean your clothes?
I would say it could even mean where you pray.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. But I'm saying, would you have any pause in telling that to somebody?
Yeah, before I was telling them clean your clothes. Right now,
All right, that's like, this ayat is clear, right? It's like, what's the tafsir of this ayat? There's 5 different tafsir of this ayat. Right? وَثِيَابُكَ فَطَهِّرْ, i.e., purify yourself from treachery and wickedness. Purify yourself from treachery and wickedness. Treachery, when you give somebody a promise and you break it. And wickedness, indecency, foul actions. وَثِيَابُكَ فَطَهِرْ طَهِرْ نَفْسَكَ مِنَ الْفُجُورِ وَالْغَدَرِ. Clean yourself from treachery and wickedness. Because the Arabs, they used to say about somebody who was of good character and respectability, huwa tahiru thawb. Huwa naqiyu thawb, tahiru thawb. And they would say about somebody who was treacherous and wicked, huwa najisu thawb, or daniyu thawb.
you say that about somebody like his face, like obras.
What did you say?
You say obras mosh. His face is
Obras malosh.
bad. Yeah,
He has a bad face.
like bad face.
Right.
Right. But he's good face.
He's good face, he's bad face, right? Yeah. So that's one of the tafsir. But you won't know that unless you do what? You know the tafsir, right? And that's why I stopped at the last statement of Ibn Faris. He says, and sometimes they will express the word thob to mean yourself. And so they would say, huwa tahiru thiyab. He's clean clothed. I.e., he has a clean self. He's pure.
This eye can change.
The eye just completely changed. It has nothing to do with cleaning your clothes, cleaning the place that you pray, cleaning your body. It means purify your soul, purify your nafs. Another tafsir is tahir nafsika min adh-dhunub wal ma'asi. Keep yourself clean from sin. So it's the abstract purification, right? Not the physical purification, but the abstract or the ma'nawi, the non-physical purification. And another tafsir is clean your clothing. Clean the clothes that you wear. Right? And so however you understand this ayah changes the meaning. Likewise, the ayah after, وَالرُّجْسَ فَهْجُرْ, and filth stay away from. That's a proof that you have to what? Stay away from najasa. But what if rijs is, or rujs is shirk?
Or what if it's all?
What if it's all? And so all of that is important to understand. The way that they're using the ayat right now in front of us is with thiyabaka fatahir wa rujza fahjur, clean your clothes and stay away from najasa. I.e., keep your clothes free of filth, keep your body free of filth, and even the place that you pray free of filth. And this is a consensus that these 3 things have to be cleaned before you pray. Your body, your clothing, and the location that you're praying in. With knowledge, they have to be cleaned before you pray. And if somebody says, well, what's the proof of that? وَثِيَابُكَ فَطَهِرْ, on its apparent meaning, وَالرُّجْزَ فَهْجُرْ, stay away from rujz. I can't pray there, it's rujz.
Or you
Right?
can't put it on you.
I can't put it on. ثِيَابُكَ فَطَهِرْ,
What would you?
وَالرُّجْزَ فَهْجُرْ, I got to keep it away from me. If I can't play in a place that has rijs,
No, you were saying if you can put najasa on you.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I can't pray in a place that has najasa,
Yeah.
I can't pray with it on my body.
Mm-hmm.
And to stay away from it means that Allah restrict when I have to stay away from it. Did he say stay away from it sometimes, but it's okay to do it at other times? So stay away from it. What a rujza fahjur.
My body, you mean physically and spiritually?
No, body is physical. Meaning when you pray, can you have dog poo on your toe? You have to what? Stay away from the najasa. So, thiyabaka fatahir, clean your clothes and stay away from najasa. I keep it away from your clothes, your body, and your place of prayer. Can the ayat mean other things? It can mean keep yourself free of sin and stay away from shirk. Keep yourself free of indecent actions like zina and fornication and treachery, and stay away from the polytheist, right? The people of riches. But the way that he's using the ayat here is cleanliness, i.e. cleaning your garments, your body, and the place that you pray.
Because when you look at it, it says, "Ya ayyuhal mudaththir qum fa'anzir wa rabbaka fakabbir." Would that mean when he's in prayer?
It could be. It makes sense. It's a nice way of lining it up. But salat wasn't obligatory yet. You see what I'm saying?
So what would this mean?
It means kabbir, Allahu Akbar. But when you that's what you're looking at in that tafsir and that tadabbur. Allah said, وَرَبَّكَ فَكَبِّرْ تَكْبِيرَةُ الْإِحْرَامِ وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ وَالرُّجْزَ فَهْجُرْ. But what does that have to do with وَلَا تَمْنُنْ تَسْتَكْثِرْ وَلِرَبِّكَ فَاصْبِرْ? Right? It's not really connected to that. But you can glean some type of connection. Right? But, like we talked about before, does the ayat, is it only applicable the way it was revealed, or can I use it any way that makes sense? Is the ayat only applicable the way that it was revealed, or can I use it any way that makes sense?
I feel like if it makes sense, it applies.
Exactly.
So we can do
Yeah. العبرة بعموم اللفظ لا بخصوص السبب.
unless the specific.
The consideration is for the generality of the word, not the specificity of the circumstance. So even if this was talking about keep yourself clean from wickedness and treachery, it makes sense to also say use it, clean your clothes.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة على العبد والرسول Now, so we say that this ayah is a proof that you have to clean your body, your clothing, and the place that you pray from najasa. And you can't pray with najasa on any of those three surfaces: your body, your clothing, or the place that you're praying at. Ibn Abdul Barr, he says this is a consensus of the people of knowledge. This is a consensus, it's an ijma' that you have to wash off all najasa from your clothing and your body, and that you not pray on a surface that is najis, nor have najasa in your clothing. Right? And this is a consensus. Tafadhal.
For najasa, as of right now, it's only things that come out your body.
No, the ayat that we have, but we talked about najasa early on.
I wasn't here for that class.
Okay, what is najasa?
Something like definition.
I just asked you what's najasa. You can answer any way you want. It's your answer. What is najasa?
Urine.
Huh?
Certificates.
Okay, that's an example.
What?
So you're gonna answer with all examples. So now you got to give me all the examples.
So something that you
Najasa
get
is
rid
what
of.
was legislated.
Huh?
Najasa is what was legislated.
What was legislated as
As haram.
najasa? That's the easy answer. What's najasa?
Something. That which was legislated.
Whatever Allah said najasa is. That's the easy answer. How do you know something is najis? Allah said it's najis. The Prophet said it's najis. So you need to be able to prove, so is this najis? Give me the ayah. You see what I'm saying? Give me the ayah that this is najis and I'll say it's najis. Until then, it's not. That's the easy way to define what is najasa. A more complex way is anything that is haram to consume, not because it's dangerous, not because it's sacred, not because it's disgusting. That if it's haram to consume, it's najis. As long as it's not for one of those three reasons. The hardest way to define it is to define it by example. Not because it's hard, but because you need to know all of the examples. Najasa is human urine, human defecation, pig. Huh? What's your proof?
Because you don't want when it touches you have to wash your hands.
Who said you gotta wash your hands 7 times?
What's your proof though?
There's a hadith about it.
About washing your hands 7 times?
No, about
Washing the bowl, you mean? Washing the bowl.
whatever it touches, you gotta wash.
The hadith doesn't say whatever it touches you gotta wash it.
Washing the bowl.
إذا ولغ الكلب في إناء أحدكم فليغسله 7 مرات إحداهن بالتراب. If a dog licks into your container, then wash it out 7 times, the first of them with dirt.
Well, so what if it touches your hands? You don't wash
Did the hadith say anything about your hands?
it. So just for the bowl.
Yeah, the hadith said the bowl. Did the Sahaba have dogs?
Yeah.
Did the Prophet ever tell you to wash your hands for touching a dog?
What if you do?
Until you prove it to me, I don't know either.
That's fair.
Huh?
That's fair.
Exactly. MashaAllah.
What if somebody said, "Oh, if you gotta wash the bowl, then that means if it touches your hand."
That's very clever. I like that. Makes sense. If you got to wash the bowl, then the hand is even more obvious.
Alright,
It makes sense. Is that what you said?
yeah.
Nah, I'm just
that's
saying.
what
I
he's
like
saying.
somebody-
That's what he's saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying if that's what you're saying, okay.
That's what you're saying.
I'm not arguing with you.
I'm just trying to like.
Cool,
What
yeah.
if somebody said that? Like,
We challenge for fun. If that's what you're saying, it makes sense. I'm not gonna argue with you. MashaAllah. Go for it. Wash your hands. Muntasir would tell you to wash your hands.
Yeah, I said.
You follow Muntasir. You're Muntasiri. That makes sense to Dawood. Dawood is Muntasir's top student, right? But that's how madhabs happen. You know that position. If he tell you to wash your bowl, I mean, washing your hands is even more obvious. And because the bowl I might use or not use, but my hands, I'm using all the time. So now you got to wash your hands 7 times, one of them with dirt. I could answer, well, why did he never tell anybody to wash their hands? In spite of the fact of that being more obvious. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I was just saying, if somebody.
I know, but
That's his argument against you.
remember, we're not trying to prove you right or wrong. Your thought process is good. Your thought process is the same way other people thought. And so now you have to think, how is the person going to refute me? And then how am I going to refute them? And then how are they going to refute me back? You see, until there's nothing left but the answer.
Right.
So if you say the Prophet ﷺ told us to wash the bowl because that's the most, if you got to do the lesser, then it's only obvious that you have to do the most, right? If you got to clean something that's less, then to have to clean something that's more is even more obvious. If you can't tell your mother, oof, can you tell her, go to hell, you dumb bee? Why not? If you can't even say oof, you can't put a whole sentence there. That's even worse. So if you got to clean the bowl, of course you got to clean your clothes. Of course you got to clean your hand. And that proves that the dog is najis. If somebody says to you, but the Sahaba had dogs and they utilized them, and the Prophet ﷺ never told any of them to clean from it. Instead, there's an ayat that contradicts this. فَكُلُوا مِمَّا أَمْسَكْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ. Yeah. How's it going to bring it? And what's his mouth got? Did Allah tell us to wash it?
I mean, that's obvious.
But that's obvious.
What if you do
That's
PS
obvious.
again?
But there's nothing obvious in the religion.
What if you do PS again? You say, okay, if you gotta wash the bowl, then I gotta wash my food.
That's the point. But Allah didn't tell you to wash your food. So you're telling Allah forgot?
No, I'm not saying this.
And Allah said, the Prophet, we're not saying you, but this is the conversation that people have. This is actually how they make the debate. You must be saying Allah didn't mention it for some reason. Why didn't Allah mention it?
Because it's known.
because it's known,
Obviously
it's
you're gonna
obvious. And then I say back to you, well, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ فَرَضَ فَرَائِدْ فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. Allah made obligations, so don't abandon them. وَحَدَّ حُدُودًا فَلَا تَعْتَدُوهَا. And he set limits, so don't surpass them. وَحَرَّمَ أَشْيَاءً فَلَا تَنْتَهِكُوهَا. And he made certain things haram, so don't do them. وَسَكَتَ أَنْ أَشْيَاء رَحْمَةً لَكُمْ غَيْرَ نِسْيَانٍ فَلَا تَسْأَلُوا عَنْهَا. And he was quiet about some things as a mercy for you, not because he was forgetful. So don't ask about them. Did Allah tell you to wash the dog's saliva?
Let me ask you this: you washed the bowl, right?
Yeah, I washed the bowl.
Would you wash the dog after it bit off your animal?
Me, no.
You wouldn't wash it?
I wouldn't wash what?
The animal that it
I
caught.
mean, I don't think you have to wash it.
If I smoke it or if I cook it right away without washing it,
What if you just prefer
You can skin it.
you can prefer to do what you want.
Cook it. Yeah, I think that's what he said.
See?
That's what he
Hey,
said.
now you
It
don't
being
have-
obvious.
Now you don't even have to wash it because you skinned it.
If you just skin
You think the saliva stops at the skin?
I don't know where the saliva
The
stops.
tooth passes the skin.
When you cook it, it burns all the bacteria.
What if I smoke it?
Well, there you go. You're getting exactly my point. You're getting rid of it, whatever was on.
If I smoke it, I'm not getting rid of it. It's cooking it in.
Is it?
When you cook something that's on something, you're cooking it into it.
But does it become something else?
It didn't become anything else. It's dog saliva. We talked about this conversation with the pepperoni. You all wouldn't eat the pizza with the pepperoni on it, right?
No.
But you eat the meat that the dog brought you. So the point is, remember, our goal isn't to prove right or wrong. It's to train that thought. So those are good thoughts. You see what I'm saying? That's a good way to think. Obviously, you're going to wash it. We know that the religion sometimes mentions things and then makes it obvious and doesn't mention it. When the imam says, وَلَضَّالِينَ, say Ameen. Right? When do you say Ameen? And another narration it says, when the imam says Ameen, say Ameen. When do you say Ameen?
When the imam said it.
Why didn't it mention after he says وَلَضَّالِينَ? Because the other narration already made it obvious. When the Prophet would say Sami Allahu liman hamida, none of us would bend his back till the Prophet's nose touched the ground.
Right.
Sami Allahu liman hamida. How does the Prophet get his nose to the ground? What does he have to say? Why didn't the hadith mention Allahu Akbar? Because it was obvious. You got to say Allahu Akbar before you can make sujood. When the imam says Allahu Akbar, then say. When the imam says Allahu Akbar, then say.
Allahu Akbar.
And when he says Sami Allahu liman hamida, then say. Why didn't it mention say Sami Allahu liman hamida?
That's what you're supposed to do.
Huh?
That's just what you're supposed to do.
It's obvious. You don't say Rabbana wa lakal hamd when the imam says Sami Allahu liman hamida right away. You say Sami Allahu liman hamida too. And then you say Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Because you say Rabbana wa lakal hamd when? When you're standing up. You don't say Rabbana wa lakal hamd while you're moving. You say it after you've already stood up. So what do you say while you're moving? Well, the hadith didn't mention say Sami Allahu liman hamida because it was obvious. So there are examples when things will be obvious. There are examples when things will be mentioned because they're the most likely situation. وَرَبَائِبُكُمُ اللَّاتِي فِي حُجُورِكُمْ. And your daughters-in-laws who live with you. You can't marry them. What about the ones who don't live with you?
Can't marry them either.
Can't marry them either. Right? But Allah didn't mention them not because it's okay, but because it's obvious. You can't marry the one that live with you when she's right there. You can't marry the one that's far away. Right? And the ones who live with you are the time the relationship that you're going to have. Right? That's the one that you're going to be more drawn to than the one you never met. So there's examples of that. But then somebody else comes back and says, Akhi, Allah didn't forget.
I mean, like, you really gonna eat the saliva and shit?
To me, there is no answer. Allah didn't forget. And he didn't tell you to wash it. And there's no proof that dog saliva is najis. Did the Prophet say dog saliva is najis? He told you to do what? Wash it how?
7 times. 7 times. Water that was dark.
For you to compare, you need to know what? You need to know why. Do you know why? So then you can't compare. Do you wash any other najasa out with 7 times? So why are you comparing it to najasa?
Because when you do istijmar, it's
You do istijmar 7 times? One of them with dirt?
Can you
no,
also say that
I do
maybe-
it odd. Try to do it odd though.
That's fine. That got to do with anything.
7 is odd.
And plus, Amr benefited us the hadith about the cat and washed the cat once in the same
Is
hadith.
that
But can you also say
Is the
that
hadith sahih?
Prophet
Yeah.
also didn't mention the obvious.
Because that
This
proves
shit
right
is
there that the dog is not naked.
That's my point.
That proves it right there.
That proves it right there. One of the versions
If
of the
it's
hadith
sahih.
says, and the cat washed it once.
What's that proof?
Because the dog, you got to wash it 7 times, one of them with dirt. And in the same hadith, the Prophet says, and the cat wash it once.
There's another hadith that says that cats
Are the
not
cats
najis.
najis?
There's a hadith that says the cat's not najis.
Are cats najis?
No,
But you still have to what?
wash it.
Still got to wash it. So why are you washing it? Because the Prophet says so.
That's it.
And I don't know why.
So the saliva is not najis.
Did you prove it was najis?
I mean, based on all these, it seems like it's not.
Some scholars
To me, it seems like it's not. But if you want to follow Muntasir had a logical argument. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying like that's fine. If you want to follow Abu Hanifa, if you want to follow Imam Malik, if you want to follow Imam Ahmed, because their argument, their evidence made more sense to you. You see what I'm saying? But you have to learn how to do what? Think. You have to learn how to train. Ya Aba Yusuf. I don't make it halal for anybody to say our opinion that doesn't know why we said it. It's a statement of Abu Hanifa. It's not okay for anybody to say my opinion that doesn't know why I said it. So you have to start understanding, how did he get to this opinion? And if that makes sense to you, then do what? Worship Allah that way. But if somebody comes to you with a stronger evidence, worship Allah that way. Today I have this. Why do you write down everything I say? Today I have an opinion, tomorrow I change my mind. And so the goal isn't to just, yes, there is a place for just learning the information. This is the answer. This is the question. This is the answer. This is the question. This is the answer. This is how most people are. Sheikh, can I put my hands on my chest in salat? Yes. Sheikh, can I go down on my knees? No. Question, answer. But that's common people. A student has to develop what skills? The skills to understand it. So that one day the student can become what? The teacher. But the person who just knows the answer and repeats it, what do we call this person? Not even a follower, a muqallid, a blind follower. So you have a blind follower who you give an answer, he repeats the answer. I don't know anything about it. You say, Abdul Hakim, do I have to wear sandals in Hajj? I say yes. Sheikh bin Baz said so. What's that? The blind follower. I don't know why. Then you have a follower. A follower is somebody who follows the scholar's opinion with their evidence. I looked at the scholar's disagreement and I like this scholar's opinion better. This one makes more sense to me. Abdul Hakim, is a khul'ah counted from the 3 divorces? No. This is the opinion of Ibn Abbas. He says because Allah says, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. And then Allah says ولا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به. And then Allah says فإن طلقها فلا تحل له من بعد. So Allah mentioned 4 scenarios. 2 divorces, a khul'ah, and another divorce. So Allah didn't count the khul'ah from the divorce, because you can only divorce 3 times.
Those are all ayats.
These are all ayat in Surah Al-Baqarah in their order. الطلاق مرتان فإن الطلاق فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان ولا يحل لكم أن تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا إلا أن يخاف أن لا يقيم حدود الله فإن خفتم أن لا يقيم حدود الله فلا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به. So Allah mentioned 2 divorces, and you can't take anything back unless it's a khul'ah. And then Allah says after that فإن طلقها, and then if he divorces her فلا تحل له من بعد حتى تنكح زوجا غيره. So Allah mentioned 2 divorces, a khul'ah, and a divorce.
Can they use that same ayat as saying that it is?
Yeah. Because the khula is not one of the things. Allah was talking about this in the context of when you divorce her, you can't take anything back unless it's a khula. You see what I'm saying? And so that would make it a khula. That would make the divorce a khula. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't take anything back unless the divorce that you did was a khula. But I'm following the scholar's opinion with evidence. And then you have the third level of mujtahid, a person who's able to look at the text, who understands the language. I understand the word thobe. I understand the word tahir. I understand all of these things. I understand what the Salaf said about this and that and the third. And I'm able to extract my own opinion from it. I don't need to rely on anybody else to arrive at my answer. And so the blind follower, he never gets to that position because he's always just he said, she said. The student is working to get to that position. He's learning what the scholars say in order to imitate it in other issues. The way you trained me to think about this ayat is the same way I'm going to think about that ayat. Meaning I won't be thinking the same thing, but I'm be using the same thought process. What does this ayat really prove? Is it general? Is it specific? Is it absolute? Is it restricted? Is it clear? Is it unclear? In the same way I saw that this ayat فِيهِ رِجَالٌ يُحِبُّ أَن يَطَّهَّرُوا doesn't prove that it's wajib to make a ghusl, to do istinja, is the same way I see that the hadith of whoever prays in congregation is better than praying by himself. It doesn't prove that praying in congregation is wajib. And so until I get that next proof, the same way I see that the hadith about why I pray 4 rak'ah, why do I pray 4 rak'ah for dhuhr? Why? Why?
About the fard or this?
Thank you. I don't know. I don't know why it's 4 rak'ah. Why is Maghrib 3 and Dhuhr is 4? I don't know. The same way I learned that I don't know here, so I can't compare it.
Because it's easier.
No, it's not easier. Why not? Why not 2? It started off 2 by 2. Was it hard when it was 2 by 2?
50, right? 4.
No, we're not talking about the amount of times a day you pray. We're talking about why is it 4 rak'ah now when it used to be 2, right? But the same way I don't know that is the same way I don't know why the Prophet told me to wash the dog spit. So I'm gonna say I don't know. Like, not about this so much.